Well, greetings, everyone. You have tuned in for another live stream of Candid Conversations with Chenille. I am so excited because, as we often do, we have another exciting topic for you on tonight. During our last live stream, we talked about loved yet longing, the hidden struggle. I want to encourage you, if you have not had an opportunity to go back and watch, please do yourself a favor and tune in. You will definitely be delighted with the information that is shared from our last live stream. But on tonight, we have another topic that is definitely sure to please and to enlighten you as well. Yep, it's Candid Conversations with Chenille, where the information is real, raw, and it's relevant. So let's go ahead and get started. So tonight we're going to talk about it's complicated. Which piece are you giving up? Yes, I know your minds are already in motion trying to figure out what is it that we are going to be discussing. This is going to be some good information. And listen, I even have a little demonstration as we go along in the broadcast on tonight. So, are you ready? If you're ready, let me see you put that in the comments. I'm ready. And as you're typing, I want you to make sure that you have your hearts and your minds and that your ears are open to receive what is going to be shared on tonight. So when we talk about it's complicated, which piece are you giving up? Our lives are quite complex. It's complex as an individual, but it tends to get even a little bit more complex as we add people to our lives. And as we add people, that means that sometimes the decisions that we would normally make, we may not make those same decisions. So as we look at which piece are you giving up, I actually have a heart here on tonight. And so, as we can see, there are many different pieces in this heart. Sometimes we give up emotional energy. We may give up our personal boundaries, independence, our authenticity, or our sexual autonomy. Now, I purposely, if you notice, there are three additional pieces, and I left those blank. And in the center, it says me. So tonight, we're going to jump in and we're going to talk about each one of these things that I consider to be pieces of who we are. This is not all inclusive, but I did try to select the top five that we tend to give up. So when we look at emotional energy, let's define that. Emotional energy is expending emotional energy to support others' needs at the expense of our own needs. And when we're looking at emotional, it defines or it's an act of being aroused when we're all into whatever it is that we're dealing with. So when we look at our emotional energy here, what are some examples of when we give up emotional energy? When we're always trying to be the caregiver of another person. What does that mean? That means that we're always trying to fix it for somebody else. We're always trying to make what's wrong right. And so we expend a lot of energy by trying to fix whatever is wrong. How many of us are known as Mr. or Mrs. Fix It? Hmm. That means that everybody that has a problem, they always come to us to fix what is wrong. And we give up a piece of who we are trying to fix everything that's wrong. We listen to problems, we provide comfort, we'll even give out solutions based on what we think that somebody else wants. Maybe not what they need, but what they want. And so we expend emotional energy. We put everything into it. 9 times out of 10, when we're trying to assist somebody else and we're giving up a piece, I took it out because we tend to give everything. Another instance when we give up emotional energy, taking on someone else's emotional burdens. That's deep right there. So let's talk about when we take on other people's emotional burdens. First, let me say that 9 times out of 10, all of us have gone through something in our life. We've gone through something. Many of us have not healed from that which we have gone through. And 9 times out of 10, those of us that are trying to help somebody else, we haven't even dealt with our own burdens. And so now we're taking on the emotional burden of another person. So, what does that look like? That looks like us being worn out from trying to carry and trying to encourage and trying to support someone else. And not only do we have our burden, but we've taken on the burden of another. Excuse me. And so what happens is we tend to experience stress from trying to carry someone else. Another thing that happens is when we deal with, we give up our emotional energy, we ignore our own feelings. So, what we're going through is no longer at the forefront of our minds. We begin to pick up what everybody else is going through and what somebody else is going through to help ensure that they're not giving up their emotional energy, while all at the same time, we're the ones that's giving up our emotional energy. And so when we look at emotional energy and we look at this heart, we can see that one piece is already gone. And not only that, when you give up emotional energy, guess what else you give up? You're always giving up me. That's you. I'm going to put that back for the sake of our other examples, but I want you to remember anytime we're giving up anything, we're always at the core of what we're giving up. Never think that you're giving up something and you're not involved. It may be the fact that we may give more to others than we do others, but either way, we're giving up something. It's not possible to give if we don't understand how to do this properly, and we're going to talk about that. Then you'll always give up a piece of you. There's a way to give up a piece of you and not give up all of you. Okay, so let's go on. What's another area that we look at that we give up. I love this one. Authenticity. Authenticity deals with who we are. And if we're not careful, we'll always give up our authentic self. Authenticity will cause us to suppress or alter our personality to fit in or to gain acceptance. When we give up a piece of who we are and it's relative to our authenticity, that means that we go along when we shouldn't go along. It's pretending that we like something when all of the time we dislike it. It's pretending that we're cool with something knowing that we're not. When we give up our authentic self, then we're not true to ourself. We'll give up our authentic self depending on who it is. Sometimes it's our best friend. Sometimes it's our loved one. Sometimes it's a coworker. But when you give up your authentic self, you have just given up a part of who you are. Your authentic self will cause you to hide your true opinions, your beliefs, what you really believe in. You will hide that because you're not being true to who you are. And I believe that a lot of times with authenticity, we hide it because we do not want to be rejected. We do not want people to not like us because we don't give them a piece of who we are. The thing is, give me a piece of who you are, but it has to be what I want. Oh, that's good right there. Some people will not embrace the authenticity of who you are unless it lines up with who they want to be. Let me make that a little bit more plain. Most of the time, you're not able to tell people the truth because they won't receive it. But when you look at it, we are able to tell people what they want to hear. Think about that. Are you free to just tell somebody the truth? Or do you always find yourself in a place telling somebody what they want to hear? Let's ponder that. And let's be honest about that. Am I a person that's always giving up a piece? Or am I a person that remains true to who I am? When we lose our authenticity and we give up that piece of who we are, you'll even change your lifestyle, meaning you'll change the clothes you wear. Oh, yeah. When you give up a piece of who you are, you'll begin to change the clothes you wear. You'll change how you wear your hair. You'll change the perfume you spray on. You'll change the cologne you put on. When you give up your authentic self, then that means that I can no longer be who I am. I can only be who you want me to be. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that flow is coming now. I can only be who it is that you want me to be. And when we start being who it is that everybody else wants us to be, we start losing pieces. And 9 times out of 10, it's not only one piece that we're losing, because as you can see, we're already 2 pieces out of here. because one person needs us this way over here, and another person needs us that way over there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. And so we've already given up, we've expended emotional energy for one group, and for the next group, we've given up authenticity. Oh my God. I don't think that we realize how much we adjust to make somebody else, how much we give up to make sure that somebody else keeps their emotional energy and they keep their authenticity. But if you're dealing with somebody and you're giving up your authenticity for them to keep theirs, I want to serve notice that they don't have authenticity either. Because when they have authenticity, they wouldn't put a demand on you for you to give yours up. People who are authentic push you to your authentic, true self. But people who lack emotional energy, they lack authenticity, will always pressure you to give yours up to. Those type of people with emotional energy, they want all of it. 9 times out of 10, and the more you give, it's the more that they take. Oh, yes, I'm talking real good. The more you give is the more a person is going to take. The more you act like you're the savior, the more you act like you're the problem fixer, the more you act like you can be strength to everybody, the more you act like you don't get down, you are not burdened about anything, the more you act like you have it all together, you have all of the answers, the more you act like that is the more that people are going to take away from, just because it's all an act. Oh God, the more you act like you're strong for everybody, the more pieces you lose and the more pieces you give up. And again, 9 times out of 10, these pieces don't go back in. Because by the time we finish helping one person, so we think, then the next person shows up because they love the way we helped somebody else. And most of the times, have we really helped them? Or have they helped themselves off of us? Oh my God, that's good right there. Have we helped or have we hurt? The reality of it is we don't know what people can take because we always have our cape on. And as long as you have a cape on, you're going to give up pieces. And I asked the question, what piece are you giving up? And the reason that I said that it's complicated, because sometimes you don't know that you're giving up so many pieces. And some people will take multiple pieces. I would like to submit that they'll take as many pieces as you give them. And let me delve a little bit further. They'll take pieces and give them to somebody else. Ooh, that's tight right there. Oh, yeah. They'll take your piece a piece that they've taken from you, and they'll give that piece to somebody else. And after a while, thank you, Lord. After a while, our pieces get broken and become, like they have the M&M's candy, shareable. We didn't share them, but the person that's in possession of them, they shared them. Oh, yes. So I want to break it, but I'm not going to break it. I'm not going to break it. I really want to break this. And before tonight is over, I might just break this, because the reality of it is we start out giving this up. We start out giving our whole self to somebody. And then we get passed on to somebody else. Oh, some of it is harmless. Some people just talk about, hey, so and so helped me with my problems. And you know what they do? They break off a little piece and refer you. See, you didn't even know you was getting referrals. They refer you right to somebody else. And this whole piece that you've given up has now been broken off of. And now somebody that you may know or may not know now has a piece. I can't break it. I was trying to break it. Thank you, Sister Delisha, for permission to break it. But somebody else now has a piece. And this person that has this piece, now they're pulling on you. How does that work, prophetess? If they have a piece and they're pulling on me and I don't even know it? Because 9 times out of 10, when you giving up your piece, you giving up all of you. And you're being spread around. How am I being spread around? Because the person that's in possession of the whole piece is coming to you as the forerunner. So now you're helping them with their problems that you think are only their problems, but they've intermingled some of somebody else's problems in there. So while you're helping them help the other person that has a piece of you. Oh, girl. Oh, man. And we be on broken pieces. Broken pieces that we can't even fit back. There we go. We can't even fit back into place. The thing that'll get me back into the puzzle is now broken. Because I'm dealing with, I've given up my emotional energy. So that where I was trying to help has now become lost to me. Oh, man. Where I was trying to help is now become lost. And I can go back in, but look what I'm looking like in there. I'm not rooted. I don't have anything to hold me in place now. Let's go. How did I get stuck there? How did I get stuck there? And I'm going to show you what I see. What I'm seeing is I don't have anything in place to hold me. But when you look at that, it looks like I do. It looks like the piece over here was not broken off. Because you see that in the background, that piece is still colored in. So it looks like my piece is fitted. Ooh, This is good to me. Help me, Lord. All right, let's look at another piece. I want to talk about this piece, a piece that we give up: independence. And you know, a lot of times we say, I'm independent. I'm independent. How can you be independent but dependent? You do understand that you can think that you're independent and be dependent. Oh, that's good right there. You have some people that give up their independence because they want to be dependent. Oh my God. In some things, I want to be independent. But overall, I'm dependent. Oh my goodness. How are we, how have we given up our independence? When you lack assertiveness, when you can't stand on who you are. And we say stand on business, that's standing on business when you know who you are. When you give up your independence, you give that thing up. You give up creativity. You give up identity. You give up who you are. You don't just give up independence, you're giving up more than that. So when you give up independence, no longer do you understand who you are. When you choose to be dependent, then you choose to abort purpose. Now, let me make that clear. I'm not talking about being dependent on God, because we need to be dependent on God at all times. But when we give up a piece of who we are and it relates to our independence, then that means that we no longer understand who we are. When we give up our independence, then we have an over reliance on others to make decisions for us. Oh my God. Now, let me tell you about this is what's crazy. We give up independence. We rely on somebody else to make decisions for us. And then we get mad about the decision that's been made. You know why we give up independence? Because it's easier for somebody to mess up and I can blame them for doing it. So I'm independent but dependent at the same time. I'm independent when I want to do what I want to do. I'm dependent when what I've done is going to cost me. Ooh, that's good right there. Yes, I'm independent when I want to do what I want to do, but dependent when I want somebody else to pay the price for what I've done. Oh, that's good right there. You cannot give up independence. When you give up your independence, then you have to rely on somebody else's decisions as it relates to you. Let me bring that home. a little bit closer. We'll give up our independence and put our lives in the hands of somebody else's life who is in their life is in shambles. Oh, yes, we will. Let us be fond of somebody. Let us want to support something enough. Let it be known that we have lost our authentic self. Our independence will be entrusted into the hands of somebody who is dependent themselves, while all of the time acting as if they're independent. We have to open our eyes and understand when people are taking pieces off of us. Because everybody that look like they have it together, I came to serve notice, they may not always have it together. And the only reason that they're acting independent is because you've entrusted your whole entire life to them. Oh my God. I want to delve. I really want to dive right there. Because a lot of times we're riding the wave of somebody that's drowning. It just looked like, I just got through telling you, it looks like over here that this piece is still attached to this puzzle. But the piece is right here. It just looks like that. Oh my God. And we're so fooled and we're so bamboozled and we're so thinking that we're in control that we're steady losing pieces. It's complicated. What piece are you giving up? Do carry on, Chenille. All right. This is going to be big here. Our personal boundaries. Some of the pieces that we give up, or a piece that we give up, it pertains to our personal boundaries. And 9 times out of 10, let me come sit. Let me come sit with you a minute. Our personal boundaries, 9 times out of 10, we don't have any. We allow people to roll right up on us and take out of here whatever it is that they want. Even when you're giving up pieces, you still need to be in control of that. Why do you need to be in control of that? Because you're not giving up your peace for an eternity. You're not giving up your peace that it becomes their peace. Some of us drop our peace off, or we let people pull up and get our peace and never bring it back. So now, when it's time for me to really help somebody else, I can't because my pieces are everywhere. I can't help somebody else because I have a piece over here. I have a piece over here. I have a piece that somebody has that is still together, but it has become their piece. Oh, this is good. This is good. And this is so true. This is right where we are Sitting wherever you're sitting, somebody has a piece that belongs to you somewhere. And I would like to submit for your consideration that if that piece has been mishandled, then somebody has a whole piece that you gave them is now broken pieces. Oh God. When people don't understand how to handle you, then they break your pieces in pieces. And 9 times out of 10, if you don't understand your personal boundaries, you will allow people to do to you whatever they want to do to you. When you don't understand your personal boundaries, you will allow people to impose and to just interject themselves in your life when they get ready to. Yeah, I know you said you wasn't answering the phone after 10, but it's 11:58 and I need to talk to you. I know you said you weren't going to sit on the phone with me 3 hours this time, but we 5 hours in. I know you said you weren't going to keep going around this mountain with me over and over, but this is our 10th conversation about the same thing. I know you said you weren't going to answer the phone anymore, but you've answered it 7 times in 7 days. You've answered the phone. I know you said it, but because I don't respect your personal boundaries, I'm going to call anyway. I'm going to show up anyway. You know why I don't respect your personal boundaries? Because you don't. I don't respect them because you let me do it. You let me call. You let me walk over you. You let me show up. You let me bring others into your space. You let me allow other people to eat off of you. You let me do it. And so, since you let me do it, I do it. 9 times out of 10, when you allow people to impose on your personal boundaries, not only do they do it, they bring others along to do it as well. And they cover it up as, oh, well, she know, girl, it's going to be a blessing to you. Sir, it's going to be a blessing to you. And this is male or female. When you allow people to invade your personal boundaries, you ignore your own needs to accommodate somebody else's needs. But when you understand your personal boundaries, people will have a problem with you. If you're the one that people love to call, that people flock to, baby, it is not because you're so grand. It's because you give up your pieces easily. Ooh, that hurt right there. Oh, yes. When we give up our pieces, everybody coming to get a piece. And it don't even matter. Let me tell you something. People will show up when some of the piece is broken. They'll show up if it's just personal up there. And they don't even have boundaries no more. It's underries. They'll show up to get that. I don't care what's left. As long as it's a piece on there somewhere, I'm coming to get it. I'm coming to get it. Whatever I can get, I'm coming for it. I don't care if it's looking like that. I'm coming to get. Most people are coming to get pieces because they're in pieces, and they won't even recognize that you in pieces too. People who are broken, needy, dependent, and all of that, they won't even see this as crumble. When they look at it, they look at a whole piece, and it's something I can get. And then you have those others that know you in broken pieces. They won't even care. They'll come take what they can take and get what they can get, and then talk about how broken you are. Oh, that's good. Oh, because when we giving up pieces, we think that everybody love us. We think that everybody's concerned with us. We think that people won't come and get the shattered parts of our life. But if it's going to help them, baby, they will come get the shattered pieces, the crumbled up pieces. They'll get this piece. They'll take this piece and the residue if they can get it. When you give up your personal boundaries, you tolerate mistreatment. You tolerate being devalued. You tolerate somebody else, because what people will do is they'll go to somebody else that has their pieces in place. They won't even be thinking about you. And when they can't get in touch with that person because that person has set some boundaries, they'll come and make you feel like you the greatest thing on earth. And they'll never mention that they tried to get in contact with old boy or old girl 30 times before they called you. We tolerate mistreatment. We tolerate being devalued because most of us, we want to give up a piece anyway. Because when I feel like I'm doing all of the giving, I feel like I'm being valued. When in fact, there's a possibility that I could be being devalued. Another thing, when you give up your personal boundaries, you tend to share information with people too quickly. Your personal information, not just information, your personal information. When you don't understand your personal boundaries, you share information with people that have not gained, number one, your trust, and they have not gained your respect yet. So when you tell people your personal information too quickly, then you don't require any trust and you don't require any respect. Oh, that's tight. That's tight. You don't require trust and you don't require respect. Oh my God, this time is getting away from me. I'm going to take this piece back out. Our last piece, sexual autonomy. Oh, let's get that out of there. Let's get that piece out of there. So that deals with when we yield to the expectations or pressures of someone else in our intimate relationships. Now, y'all know y'all was not going to get off of here tonight without me going straight into this is a little bit tough. When we yield to pressure or the expectations of another, when we let somebody run by, mhm, we give up a piece while giving up a piece. We give up a piece while giving up a piece. 6. It's so easy for us to give up a piece of who we are. It's so easy to make adjustments, even if we're with somebody and they're not just running by. We can easily lose ourselves, lose our values, lose what we believe by trying to please somebody else. And in the end, we've given up from this sexual autonomy. We've given up our emotional energy. We've given up our personal boundaries. We've given up our independence. And we've given up authenticity. A lot of times it works all kinds of ways. When we give up independence, we give up authenticity, personal boundaries, emotional energy, sexual autonomy. And I can go through each one of these because every last one of them are interconnected. And all of them means the piece that I've given up, regardless of which piece it is, goes back to me. No matter what piece you give up, it's connected to you. No matter what piece it is. And you see how the pieces start to stack, regardless of what it is. Where are you at? On the bottom. On the bottom. Because the more you give up, the more pieces you give up, the lower you go towards the bottom. I came to tell you, you cannot afford to give up all of the pieces that you're giving up, because you've got to have something to stay in this heart puzzle. These pieces link to your heart. It's all connected. Because when you're giving up, 9 times out of 10, I'm not talking about these generic relationships. I'm talking about when you're really giving up a piece of who you are. Then you're making it where you don't have pieces. You won't have anything to work with. I have 10 minutes left. Let's make it count. Let's ask yourself a question. How do you know when you're giving up a piece? Ask yourself these questions here. How much can I afford to give up and not lose myself? Because I can tell you that you cannot afford to give up all of this. That's right. And not be in a deficit. And guess what? There are three pieces here left that you can name. It may be time, our financial resources, or our health and well-being. Those are easily pieces that we can fill that in with these three right now. But whatever you put on here, I can guarantee it'll be given up. Another question, ask yourself, is this a healthy compromise? Is it healthy just for you? Is it healthy just for me? Or is it healthy for the both of us? Will my giving you a piece contribute positively to our relationship or to any other relationship? Because you should never give up a piece just to be giving up a piece. You don't give up a piece just because somebody else wants it. And you don't allow somebody to make you give up a piece. Oh my God. And you don't give up a piece just because somebody need it. Oh my God. They might need a piece, but it may not be your piece. Oh my God. Why may it may not be your piece? Because I'm not at a place yet where I can give you this piece and not lose who I am. So yeah, you need a piece. You just don't need it from me. Ooh, ooh, that's tight. Because we can think of so many people right now that they're always needing a piece of us. And in our mind, we've convinced ourselves that they're not going to be able to make it if I don't give them a piece. Yep, you do not give up a piece just because somebody needs it. And I need a piece too. I need this piece. Where I am in my life right now, I need this piece. I can't give you authenticity right now because I'm trying to become true to who I am. So, no, I'm sorry. I can't give up authenticity right now. Yeah, I know you need it. I know you struggling and all of that, but I also know that it's somebody out there who understands their authentic self. They understand their personal boundaries, and they can give you a piece and get it back when it's time for you to give it back. So no, I'm not the one to help right now and give you my piece of authenticity. Another question, will this person, can they reciprocate to you eventually what they're asking? You do understand that people will ask you to do and to give up what they're not willing to do and to give up. They may be able to help somebody with another piece and withhold it, while all at the same time standing at the door and knocking for your piece and refusing to help somebody with the piece that they can help them with. Oh my God, that's good. Another question. Am I sacrificing my own well being? Is this going to leave me in a deficit? Listen, how many pieces do you have out there? You need to know, not guess. You need to understand how many pieces do you have? How many pieces are in shambles? How many pieces did you get back? How many pieces came back to you whole? How many pieces came back to you shattered, fractured, broken, wrote on, cut up? Were your pieces returned? You need to know. What are your motivations for even giving up a piece? You want to be able to post it on Facebook? You want to be able to take a picture of the person that you're giving your piece to? You want to get on there and talk about how many lives were blessed because you gave them a piece of you? What are your motivations for even giving somebody a piece? Oh my God, what are you charging for this piece? What are you going to remind that person of 5 years down the road? How much are you going to dangle? You remember when I did this. You remember when I gave you this. What's your motivation for doing what you do? Again, have you given up too much already? 3 minutes. Okay, here is what I want to say to you. Number one, respect your personal boundaries. Nobody else gets to set your personal boundaries. That's why they're called personal boundaries. Number two, when people love you and they respect who you are and they respect your peace, they will value your input. Don't just take my piece and not want to hear what I have to say. You know, when people get in a pickle and they need something, they want to take something from you, but they don't want to hear nothing you have to say that's going to help them get to where they need to be. Respect your own autonomy. Respect that. You respect your decisions first. Celebrate your own successes. If you have all of your pieces, celebrate that, because 9 times out of 10, you worked for it. Again, nobody gets to decide what piece you give up. And so that is my piece for tonight. I hope that you have enjoyed Candid Conversations with Chenille. I will see you on next time. Take care. Good night.